Happening now on a special edition of Grid Tonight. Once again, Chip Ganassi Racing led the way and flexed its muscles, all four Hondas. After a quiet Wednesday, Aaron McLaren is alive and well, showing some really good speed from all of their drivers. There was also a scary accident on the pit lane in the final hour of practice between a top IndyCar driver and a driver trying to make his very first Indianapolis 500 after getting bumped from the field a couple of years ago. Hello to all our viewers watching here in the United States and around the world. Welcome to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program. I'm Kobe Lambert from the Podium and Finish. With me is Joshua Birch. I encourage everyone to comment in the chat below and ask a ton of questions. Now, Josh, I'll hand over to you for tonight's recap of the Thursday practice session for the Indy 500.
Well, thank you very much, Kobe. And I must just say a very special happy birthday to you. Hopefully you've had a fantastic day, and hopefully there's some celebrations after we finish here tonight.
I can't think of a better time to celebrate and come out here at Grid Network and talk about motorcycles. I've been working all day. Now time to just sit back and talk about what happened today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So emotional as well. Okay. So, happy birthday, and I hope you do have a great day as well. And I'm sure all our viewers will extend the same courtesy. Okay, so Thursday practice recap ahead of us then. The second day of on-track action, and the last time we'll see the teams in race trim until Monday. Now, just like yesterday, Chip Ganassi Racing was the class of the field. Marcus Ericsson was the fastest at 229.607 miles per hour. All four of Ganassi Hondas in the top 10. Scott Dixon was second, Takuma Sato 7th, Alex Plone 9th, and the photo there taken by Joe Skabinski from Penske Entertainment. Now, coming to you, Kobe, first of all, is Ganassi starting to look like the team to beat now?
Yes, Chip Ganassi Racing, as we were saying yesterday, they picked up right where they left off last year, and they look just as strong as the Hondas they had last year for that race, when it looked like any one of their Hondas could win. I can say with a lot of confidence now, it looks like any one of their four drivers could go out there and win this year's Indy 500. I know Scott Dixon, he looks really good, and we all remember the heartbreak that he's had last year in the Indy 500. And this year, he certainly wants to finally right a wrong and get his second Indy 500 win. Sato looking very strong. Alex Palou, he wasn't as fast today as he was yesterday, but still up there in the top 10. And then Marcus Ericsson, he's trying to make it look like his Indy 500 win last year was no fluke. He has a fast number 8 Honda, and he's a force to be reckoned with. And I think Chip Ganassi Racing is certainly solidifying themselves as the favorites to win the Indy 500 after a second full day of running.
Yes, this week we've talked about the struggles we've seen in Meyershank Racing as well. Helio Castroneves managed to be 18th fastest today. But his teammate Simon Pagenaud went all the way up to 3rd fastest to end Thursday practice. This certainly has to be a nice shot in the arm for a team looking for some momentum to build on. Now, is this the first step towards Meyershank Racing turning a corner in a positive direction?
Certainly. I know Helio Castroneves didn't have the day he probably wanted to have, but if you're that number 60 team of Simon Pagenaud, you certainly have to feel really excited to be up there third on the board. That today has to feel, I know it's just a practice session, but considering all the struggles that 60 team to 06, this entire Meyershank organization has had throughout the 2023 season, today has to feel like a huge win, a huge step in the right direction. As you mentioned, a nice shot in the arm. And as for Helio, I think although he was down in 18th, he certainly has to feel happy seeing Pagenaud up there, because they can look at the data. And that's one of the great things about having a teammate. If you're just a single car team, you're only looking at your own data and there's nobody to compare notes to. But since this is a 2-car team, the 06 can see what the 60 did and maybe try to make some adjustments based on that and try to get Helio Castroneves up there with Simon Pagenaud. Yeah, but certainly after a lot of dark days to start 2023 for a team that many expected to do a lot better than they've been doing this season, this is certainly a day where I believe they can leave the track and smile a little bit.
And after not being able to find much pace in the car yesterday, Callum Ilott entered Thursday hoping to unlock more speed. Now, earlier in the day, he seemed happier with his number 77 Chevrolet, but as the day went on, we saw Ilott slip down the charts. He ended up in 33rd, only one spot from that dreaded 34th position as well. Meanwhile, his youngest Honda Racing teammate, Agustin Canapino, had a strong day, 15th fastest as well. Now, does Ilot's team need to start worrying about how frustrating must it be to watch his more inexperienced teammate find more success?
I have to say, Agustin Canapino continues to impress us. It seems like every time we're talking about IndyCar, we're always mentioning Canapino doing something nice. I know the NBC Sports booth like to mention him because it's simply incredible what this older rookie has been able to do in his Canapino's in his early 30s, has never raced anything like this in his life, and he's 15th fastest, right in the thick of things at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I think it's quite an impressive run for him. And looking at his teammate Callum Ilott, he's certainly been struggling so far during this month of May. Yesterday wasn't really a good day for him at all, and then today it seemed like there was some optimism earlier in the day when he set a fast lap time, but as more cars went out, Callum Ilott slipped down the charts, as you rightfully said, Josh. And then it seemed like what seemed to be an improvement was not a good improvement at all. And his team certainly has to be scratching their heads right now, because being 33rd fastest, or as they like to say, the danger zone. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. And Fast Friday is tomorrow, and we'll have to see where Callum stacks up. But if I'm him right now, I'm not feeling really confident at all heading into Friday, wondering if I could be in danger of missing this year's Indy 500.
Yeah, like you said, tomorrow is Fast Friday, an extra boost in horsepower to turn up the wick. Looking at today's top no-toe speeds, it was Marcus Ericsson who topped the charts. That was then followed by Will Power, Santino Ferrucci, Scott McLaughlin, and Scott Dixon to complete the top 5. Then we had Venus VK, Joseph Newgarden, Colton Herter, Carl Kirkwood, and Ed Carpenter in 10th, 6 Chevrolets and 4 Hondas. Are these the group of drivers you expect to see fighting for pole this weekend in the Firestone Fast 6?
Yeah, I certainly like to think so. It's fine. Yeah, I certainly like to think that these will be the drivers who are up there. And you see, you mentioned Renus VK, Ed Carpenter, two drivers from Ed Carpenter Racing. It always seems like when it comes down to the pole, those cars are really good in qualifying. So it seems like they're going to be a lot to start up front. But typically when the race comes around, we haven't seen those Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolets show as much strongest form as we've seen in their qualifying. And Team Penske, we've seen them improve their single car speed as well. It will not be a surprise to see them up there. And then Marcus Ericsson, Scott Dixon, no surprise there, since it seemed like those Chip Ganassi Racing Hondas have certainly been the class of the field so far this week. I think any one of those drivers you just mentioned could go out there and take the pole position.
Absolutely, and just so people know about COVID hand sanitizer as well. Clean, sterile box as well. So I'll do that to promote that as well. Make sure you all stay safe. COVID may not be as rife as it was, but there are still other things out there as well. And somebody's put a dew point on outside, you see. So, I think someone's had a barbecue and cut their grass. So it's all just hit as the temperatures dramatically decreased. It's been a very hot day here in the UK, and it's been stuffy in the commentary box. So the change of atmosphere at night, it's all gone whack. So well done to Kobe as well, who I was going like that to telling him to fill a little bit of time while one of these was delivered to the commentary box as well. Right, let's battle on through hay fever, shall we? And close on, because in the last hour of practice, we saw a very scary incident exiting the pit lane. Pato O'Ward was exiting the pits when R.C. Enerson passed him at a higher rate of speed and a very tight squeeze. And lucky we didn't see a crash. O'Ward was visibly frustrated, passing Enerson on the backstretch and throwing his hand up at the Able Motorsports driver. Now, the NBC Sports broadcast booth on Peacock said it was very dangerous and thinks race control needs to speak with Enerson and his spotter Spencer Piggott about this incident. We learned the communication wasn't able to get through from the spotter to the driver because somebody else was on the line. However, what I said at the point, the spotter is there to let you know who's around you and who's behind you. Pretty sure R.C. Enerson has got eyes and he could see a big black McLaren right in front of him. So, Kobe, do you agree that IndyCar Race Control needs to have a sit down with Enerson at the end of today?
And before I answer your question, I want to say I was really surprised to see that Spencer Pigot is the spotter for RC Anderson, because Spencer Pigot, he was just in the Indy 500 a couple of years ago. I remember it was 2020 when they ran the event in August behind closed doors. He had that scary crash that ended the race when he crashed into the attenuator there. It was, yeah, and that was, I believe that was the last time we seen Spencer in IndyCar. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it really worked out for him, but well, RC Anderson, totally agree with everything you said, Josh. Like you said, he has two eyes. He should have been able to see that McLaren. And if you can't see a car right in front of you like that, maybe you shouldn't be out there. But all in all, I did think that it would be a good idea for IndyCar Race Control to sit down with Anderson. I know they're probably not going to do anything about it on a significant level, but just to tell them that you need to be more aware of your surroundings, because as slow as Pato was going ahead of him, it could have ended very, very badly. That could have been a really scary crash, especially if he would have ran over the back of Pato and went up the track into traffic over 220 miles per hour. It could have been a horrific accident. That was definitely one of the scariest moments we've seen so far during the month of May, and I'm glad that it didn't end in a horrible way.
You could say maybe he's not able to race at the 500. That's a really bad pun. I'll excuse myself now as well. Okay, if you could just put me in full screen for a second, because I get a lot of questions asked to me about what do I get my data on up in the commentary box. Well, the screen. And this is how we're going to go through the results of what happened today as well. So this is the results of everyone in the driver track. I can see 24 people, and then eventually it does go down, so I see the remainder. So let's go through the results, shall we? And start at the top. We've got Marcus Ericsson. He was the fastest driver today, 229.607 miles per hour was his top speed. His last lap time, of course, was at, well, his 1 minute 12 is his last lap time, but overall his fast time was in the 40s as well. He did 87 laps. Scott Dixon was second. He did 84 laps. That's at 229.186 miles an hour. Simon Pagenaud, as we mentioned, got up to third for Marshank Racing. He did 104 laps, and his top speed at 228.681 mile an hour. Then we get Will Power fourth, completing 85 laps. 228.577 mile an hour. And then Colton Herter fifth, completing 103 laps. 228.240 mile an hour. Then we get Connor Daly in sixth position, completing 105 laps. 228.215 was his fastest speed. And then we get, look at that, Connor Daly in sixth position for Red Carpenter Racing. An astounding performance from him today as well. 105 laps, as I said, 228 as well, 0.215. But Takuma Sato, I think, as well, someone in seventh position we've got to look forward to. Pato Award, who's my early favourite to win this race, in eighth position. Alex Player ninth. Alexander Rossi rounding up the top 10 for McLaren. And I want to pick up with you here, Kobe, about Santino Ferrucci and P11 as well. That AJ Foyt car was a real surprise today out there. Can AJ Foyt finally take a 500 win, do you think? Are they all going to be up there with 11th place finish?
I'm not sure if AJ Foyt Racing can get the job done in this year's Indy 500, but like I said, yes, sir. I think that after the speed we've seen from Santino Ferrucci, he's certainly very capable of keeping that top 10 streak alive. I think the car will be good enough to get him there as far as trying to win the race. I don't think it would happen on sheer pace. I think it would need something like having field mileage to get the job done, as we saw with Alexander Rossi a short handful years ago. I think if it's a situation like that and Santino's up there on the right strategy, I think he could potentially steal this one. It really seems like I have a feeling right now that for this year's Indy 500, the winner may not be who we expect to win. We might be in for a Cinderella story type of race. Who knows?
Bring it on. Right, here's 11 down then. We already talked about Santino Ferrucci. Graham Rahal, 12th fastest as well, 226.973 mile an hour. Tony Kanaan in what is rumoured to be, well, he says it is, but we've heard this before from Tony. So he was 13th fastest for McLaren. And then we get Kyle Kirkwood in 14th position as well. And I don't know how much you've seen of him over the test, Kobe, but Kyle Kirkwood, he's amazing in short runs, amazing on the lap pace as well. I think he's going to be up there with Marcus Ericsson in contention for this 500 win overall. And I think he's got the momentum from last time out the road course. He's definitely one to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, certainly. I think Andretti Autosport is certainly going to show up on race day. It always seems like they do for the most important race of the year. And I think after that Long Beach win, we've seen Kyle Kirkwood take a huge step forward. He seems to be more confident, sure of himself, and as he said himself, he kind of feels validated, like he belongs in the IndyCar series. And we've made this point multiple times on this show that Kyle Kirkwood is considered to be one of the greatest drivers to ever come up the road to Indy ladder, because once he got on the road to Indy, his theme song would be "All I do is win, 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 no matter what," because that's exactly what he did. He won all the time pretty much, and hardly ever had a bad day on the road to Indy. And then last year, where AJ Foyt Racing had a very humbling first season in IndyCar, and I actually think that's going to serve him well in the long run. And instead of going to Andretti Autosport as a rookie and in more superior equipment, I think Kyle Kirkwood learned a lot with AJ Foyt Racing that's going to serve him well for the remainder of his IndyCar racing career. And I totally agree with you. I think he's certainly going to be a contender. I don't know if I'm going to say Kirkwood is my ultimate pick to win the Indy 500, but Andretti Autosport certainly knows how to bring some fast pieces to this track.
Absolutely. And further down, we got Agustin Canapino as well, 15th. Felix Rosenquist, 16th. Bad day for him in the McLaren, despite getting some good long-run pace in as well. Marco Andretti was 17th. Helio Cashev is down in 18th position as well. Stingray Robb, 19th. Joseph Newgarden, the biggest shot for the Penske, down in 20th position as well, only doing 226.013 mile an hour. Jack Harvey was 21st. Ryan Hunter-Reay back, of course, for Dry and Rainbow Racing. We talked about it on the show yesterday in 22nd position as well. Then David Malukas, 23rd. Scott McLaughlin, 24th in the Penske as well. Roman Grosjean, only 25th. Got a lot to do for him when we turn up the wick tomorrow as well. Benjamin Pincherson as well, 26th. Christian Lundgaard, 27th. R.C. Anderson ended up 28th. Devlin DiFrancesco is 29th. Venus VK, 30th. Ed Carpenter, 31st. So Ed Carpenter Racing, both of them got to do some running there. Then we get Junkos Racing with Callum Milot, 32nd. Stefan Wilson, 33rd. And Catherine Legg is in that very dangerous 34th position as well. 223.934 mile an hour was the slowest time. Fastest time, as you can see at the top, 229.607. And there we are, back up with me as well, with Kirby coming in as well shortly. That is how we look at the time tower, and that's what I see up in the commentary box as well, and all the data speeds. On another monitor, I get turn 1 speed, turn 3 speed, and the last lap time, best lap time, and everything. So actually, Marcus Ericsson's best lap time, Kirby, 39.197. We're into the 39s at Indy. I'm not even up to 234 in terms of the qualifying lap speed yet. We're amazingly pushing through as well. Do you reckon we'll beat last year's record of 236, was it, in the pole time from Dixon?
I'm not sure if we're going to beat the record, but during the broadcast on Peacock, they were talking about the weather conditions potentially being really cool for qualifying, and we know when it's cool outside, the speeds are going to be a lot higher. I think if you get some cloud cover, a cool day for qualifying, yeah, we very well could someone could beat Scott Dixon's record, or knowing Scott Dixon, he'll beat his own record because Scott Dixon he's just good like that.
He is, isn't he? We've seen him do it several thousand times before with championships and race wins and everything. Pole positions, fantastically done. Okay, moving away from all of the main action that's happened today as well. There was a little bit of news that we were all expecting, but NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson was on site for today's practice session. He was up on the Aaron McLaren timing stand, taking everything in. Now, we already know that Larson will drive for the team next year and attempt to make his Indianapolis 500 debut. While speaking to NBC Sports on Peacock, Larson said there isn't a date set for his first IndyCar test yet, but understands the team is currently focused on this year's race and doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. Kirby, how important is it for Larson to actually be there on site to observe the Aaron McLaren environment on and off the track?
It shows us that Kyle Larson is serious about this, that he's going to go through the max preparation that it takes to run the Indy 500. I know we saw Kurt Busch do this as well. Get the test in IndyCar, get to embed himself inside Andretti Autosport, the team he ran with back in the day. and Kurt Busch ended up having a really good time at the Indy 500 running a double. Unfortunately, his engine gave up on him at Charlotte Motor Speedway later that night, so he wasn't able to run 1,100 miles. But Kyle Larson, we know how good of a race car driver he is. He's gonna be taking this next year to truly prepare for this opportunity. I know he's not going to be in the car this month, but just being in there with the team on the times and see how the team operates, that's going to be so beneficial for him. Interacting with the Arrow McLaren drivers, asking them like how the car felt, like how's it going out there, and all of that. I think just simply being there to watch and instill himself inside that environment is going to be extremely helpful for him before he gets into the car for his first test later this year, and ultimately in the month of May in the year 2024.
Can't wait to see him be back for next season, and also the remainder of the Indy 500. Practice number 5 gets underway tomorrow at the same time. It will be noon Eastern until 6 p.m. Eastern as well. And over in Britain, that is 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And in Central European time, that is going to be 6 p.m. until midnight as well. Now, here's Matt White with the latest from the Grid EPI update.
Hello everyone, Matt White here to bring you this week's Grid EPI update with a busy weekend that we had over the previous weekend just gone, and it mainly focused around the GT World Challenge. We had 3 rounds going on at the weekend, starting at Brands Hatch where the European sprint season got underway. Timo Boguslawski and Raffaele Marciello getting the victory in race 1, and Matteo Drudi and Riccardo Fella getting the win for Audi in race 2. So Mercedes and Audi getting wins there. In the second race, with Valentino Rossi got his first podium in the Sprint Championship in his second year in the series, so good fillip for him and Maxime Martin as well. The Asian Championship also got underway this weekend at Buriram in Thailand. Prince Abu Ibrahim and Lucas Stoltz getting a win in a wet to dry race on Saturday, and on Sunday Fabian Schiller and Anthony Liu getting the win there as well. And in Australia at Phillip Island, another round of the Australian Championship, Jaden Ojeda and Ross Polarkas getting a win for Mercedes after the Porsche of Carlac Patterson and Yasser Shahin was penalised after winning on the road. And then on Sunday, Jeff Emery and Max Hoffer getting a win for Audi. Max Hoffer now the championship leader there. He's won 3 races with 2 different drivers in that championship after 3 meetings. And of course we had the latest round of the IMSA Championship at Laguna Seca as well on Sunday. A win for Cadillac, Sebastian Bourdais and Renger van der Zande getting the victory overall in the GTP category. A crazy race it was as well. Stephen Thomas and Mikkel Jensen getting the win in LMP2. GTD was won by Alan Metney and Kay Van Berlo in the amateur category, and they beat the pro cars. That one won by Danny Yunkandea and Jules Gounon. So that is your updated results and standings from the week. And let's have a look at the top 10, where we've had one change, and that is that Danny Yunkandea has come into the top 10, and he slots there into 10th position with Ryo Hirakawa and Sebastian Buemi still topping the standings. And as I said last week, they'll probably stay at the top there until we get to Le Mans, which is not too far away. Talking of big 24-hour races, we've got one to come this weekend. It's the Nürburgring 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday in the Eifel Mountains. Weather actually, for a change, looks pretty good, and we've talked much about weather so far this week in motorsport, but the Nürburgring looks like hopefully we'll get off to without any delays of fog or rain during the night, which we've had for the last couple of years. There's also the latest round of the GT World Challenge America this weekend at the Circuit of the Americas. So we'll bring you all those updated results and an updated top 40 and top 10 on next week's show. Back to you guys.
Yes, and I understand we might have some breaking news in the world of NASCAR. So I'll hand over to you, Kobe.
Yeah, you got some big breaking news coming out of the NASCAR Cup Series. Gonna pull this up on the screen. Trackhouse just announced that Shane Van Gisbergen, the Repco Supercars champion, is going to be making his Cup debut on the streets of Chicago on the 4th of July weekend. This is something that's been teased for a very long time, but now it's official. SVG is going to be a NASCAR driver later this summer. And everyone out there in the chat room, be sure to let us know in the chat, what do you think about Shane Van Gisbergen coming to NASCAR and how do you think he'll do? We know he's going to certainly be in a really good car with Trackhouse. And we've seen Kimi Räikkönen has some really good runs in that, although he didn't necessarily get the finish that he was capable of. But certainly SVG is going to be in the perfect position to achieve maximum success in NASCAR. And right here, got a comment from Ben Snyder saying SVG. Wow, yes, it's certainly going to be interesting to watch SVG mix it up with the NASCAR Cup Series field. The best supercars driver, one of the best drivers in the world, is going to be competing with the best of the best in America. And also got Joe Samaniego asking a question. Do you think, will SVG be the dominant pick for pickle winner in Chicago? He said it's amazing and exciting. Supercars, World Rally Championship, and NASCAR Cup Series in 1 year. Truly amazing. And I actually would not advise picking SVG for Chicago, mostly due to lack of experience in this type of environment. But who knows? We've seen stranger things happen. It would definitely be a huge wild moment if he won on debut.
Oh, this is brilliant news, isn't it? This is like he's going around ticking off bucket list spitting things as well. This is brilliant. How long have we said on this show as well, and going on the whole Grid Network programs, how brilliant is it that we've always said, let's get Shane Van Gisbergen in a NASCAR. Let's get him in there. Let's see what he can do. And he's going in it. And this is brilliant. Project 91. This is what I love about this series as well. Everybody on the show knows about my views about other drivers swapping series as well. But this is where Project 91 does it the best. This is where you get drivers from all over the world across loads of different series, Formula One, MotoGP, everything. And now we've got WRC coming in, and now also with Le Mans, and now V8 Supercars. Fantastic. Let's bring him over. Let's see what he can do. I am beyond pumped for that as well. I've got to get myself on the broadcast now for USON. Got to do that. Ben's replied to Joe Samaniego. They're saying, I don't think he's going to win the race. It took Ambrose 5 years to win the NASCAR Cup. Don't expect SVG to beat every single series regular in his first attempt. Hey, I've seen stranger things happen. I've seen Marcus Winkelhock lead in a spiker in an opening lap of a race. So anything can happen. He has, but however, there's another tweet from Ben coming in as well. However, just like Jordan Taylor, he'll absolutely be a fast driver in a fast car. A top 10 shouldn't be out of the question. Definitely. I've got a tweet in actually that has been replied to all of us on the grid ranking on our Twitter Discord as well, from Matthew Embry as well, who has said, if Kyle Larson is serious about being a threat to win 2024 Indy 500, my advice would be to find a day to complete rookie orientation practice in advance, like Johnson and McLaughlin did. Would love to do business, the open test and practice. So basically just go and do rookie orientation practice early, which I think is an option, isn't it, Kobe, to get him in there? So Ken Carson's got an option to do that now?
Yeah, certainly. Kyle Larson will have that option, because typically in October, the IndyCar will have a postseason test, and I believe that's how Roman Grosjean was able to knock out his rookie orientation there. So if IndyCar, if history remains the same, they should have that postseason test, and that would be a good time for him to complete the rookie orientation program. And then once we get to the open test in 2024, and then the whole month of May, you can hit the ground running and don't have to worry about wasting time trying to, try to run lap time between 210 miles per hour, 215, all the way up to 220. And then you're approved to be on the track with everyone.
No, it's not time for a shining moment, but I do have a special one shining moment as well, and that goes to Yuki Tsunoda. The Romagna region in Bologna as well. I'm totally sorry. I'm disconnected.
Is that on your end?
Can you hear me, Kobe?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think it was on both of our ends. I think it was trying to kick us out.
Yeah. I guess it's both.
I think we both were. Sorry about that. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it's just stabilized my end. Sorry, I think Stream.
Continue on.
Yeah, Stream just had a little bit of a wiggy there. Yes, okay. Right. What I was saying was my special one shining moment has to go to Yuki Tsunoda. He's been out in the Emilia-Romagna region today and in Bologna in Italy, helping with the flood relief efforts as well. And that is an absolutely commendable thing to do as well. A top-tier bloke, Yuki Tsunoda, as well. He's so young, kind-hearted as well, and absolutely fantastic to see him out there as well, getting literally in there, getting his hands dirty, cleaning everything up as well, helping with the flood events, a top tier event. So well done to Yuki Tsunoda. Absolutely fantastic. And that's all I've got for the rest of today as well. What a day we've had, Kobe. So I'll pass over to you with a happy birthday and for you to conclude the show.
Yeah, what a day! Thankfully, I'm about to clock out and enjoy the rest of my birthday. And then Ben says, for once, I think Kobe was on the good end of the internet. Yeah, for once, and we'll see if that holds true for the remainder of the show as we close out tonight. And taking a look at our upcoming schedule tomorrow night at the same time, one final time this week. Indy 500 Fast Friday practice recap, then but early on Friday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Women in Motorsport. Saturday, noon Eastern for Grid Live pre-race. And then Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Grid Live Encore, Indy 500 practice and poll day recap. Highlights from the big NASCAR action at North Wilkesboro Speedway on All-Star Weekend and much more. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for helping us reach the milestone of 600 subscribers. Now help us reach our new goal of 600 subscribers on the road to 1,000. And on Sunday, May 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, don't miss our special preview for the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to get all the notifications. Follow all our social media platforms and visit gridranking.com. Take 5 minutes to invest in Grid Network through Patreon. Join Colin, Mark, Dishelle, Robin, and David and invest in each month in the Grid Network. We encourage you to join the amazing group of people who keep us on the air. And once we hit $500 per month, we can start expanding our coverage, adding new members to the team, and having an increased Grid Network presence on site, covering all these races from the track and more content. Link in the video description. And if you want to do a one-time donation, click the link to buy me a coffee. You can get your name on the board. Invest as much as you want and often as you want. Consider buying a specific on-air personality a cup of coffee. They'll thank you right here on the air. And and thank you, Ben. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm about to get off here and enjoy some Mexican food for my 24th birthday. I know I don't look 24, but I promise you look at my birth certificate. That's exactly what it shows. And
how are we the same age and I look ancient? Oh, look at that. Oh, no. Oh, I've shaved as well for this week, but the beard, I've been told the beard adds a bit of like Will Rycroft Star Trek vibes. But Kobe, I would not believe you're 24, mate. You look fantastically younger than that.
I guess you could say I'm aging like fine wine.
Yes.
And I can actually still pass as a teenager because I went to the doctor last year and it was like during the day, and the desk reception was like, "Sir, would you like to have a note for school so you can explain to your teacher why you missed a day?" And I'm like, I'm already a college grad, and she was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah. The desk receptionist thought I was still a high schooler because of how young I look.
I feel old. I've got an older brother who is 10 years older than me, and at family parties, people think I'm the older brother. Me. It's like, oh, okay, that's it. Yeah, okay. I'm done.
All right, I guess we'll end on that note. With that said, for Joshua Birch, I'm Kobe Lambert from the Podium Finish. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on Fast Friday night.
Thank you for watching us right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos, including Life on the Grid, where we interview folks from the motorsports industry. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.